Hello again, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Raw is War in this Attitude Era themed universe mode. We are just 1 week away from the Unforgiven pay-per-view, and we have a really exciting episode in store for tonight. Before we get into the action, I just want to say a big thank you to those who have supported the series so far. Anytime someone drops a like on these videos really lights up my life, so thank you for that. If this sort of content is up your street and you want to see more of it, please consider subscribing. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the action. The show kicked off with WWF champion Bret the Hitman Hart addressing the crowd in attendance. The Hart Foundation interfered in last week's main event between Steve Austin and The Undertaker, meaning a #1 contender for the Hitman's championship could not be determined. Bret said the way he sees it, without a challenger, he will no longer be defending his title at the upcoming pay-per-view. However, he was soon interrupted by Vince McMahon, who said he regrets to inform Bret that he is mistaken. After last week's events, Vince has now made the match at Unforgiven a triple threat match between Bret Hart, The Undertaker, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. He also informed the crowd that Austin and Taker will be required to team up tonight when they face the tag team champions Owen and Bulldog in tonight's main event, much to the dissatisfaction of the Hitman, but approval of the capacity crowd. The first match of the night got underway as the Hardcore Championship was put on the line in a match between Al Snow and the Hardcore Champion Hardcore Holly. This was a hard-hitting affair from the get-go, and it wasn't long before a steel chair was introduced into the contest. Holly then went on to deliver multiple strikes with a kendo stick, ultimately breaking the stick on the head of his opponent. The action then spilled to the outside as the ring was not big enough to contain this contest. Holly was sent careering into the steel steps. Snow then followed this up with a stiff shot from the steps before sending Holly into the crowd over the barricade. Holly managed to swing momentum in his favor through the use of a baseball bat, which connected directly with Snow's head, before following this up with a spinebuster through the table. The superstars then returned to the ring, where Snow introduced a stop sign to Holly's head before delivering a pile driver on top of it. Just then, however, the lights went out, and Kane and Paul Bearer emerged on the rampway making their way to the ring. Kane instantly chokeslammed Holly through a table, before leveling Snow with a shovel and finishing him off with a tombstone. Paul Bearer then had a message for the Hardy Boys who attacked Kane on last week's episode. Bearer said the actions of the Hardys last week will be their last. Kane's fury knows no bounds, and he thirsts for the pain of the Hardys. The Hardys will suffer for their transgressions, and at Unforgiven they will be consumed by the flames of hell itself. Backstage, the cameras caught up with the $1 Million Man, who said he had a huge surprise for everybody at Unforgiven next week. He promised the world that he would unveil a new $1 Million champion who he would manage, and together, they would go on to rule the World Wrestling Federation. Our next match of the evening took place when the Anvil and Pillman of the Hart Foundation took on the newly crowned #1 contenders for the tag team titles. Edge and Christian were victorious in last week's show against the Headbangers and are due to face the Hart Foundation for the titles at Unforgiven next week. Owen and Bulldog were hoping that their fellow Hart Foundation members could soften up the opposition ahead of the pay-per-view. It was a tremendous contest between the four men. Pillman and Edge kicked things off, showcasing great wrestling ability. It was back and forth between the two teams throughout the contest. Momentum swung in the favor of the Hart Foundation when the Anvil was tagged in and able to show off his impressive strength. However, It was Edge and Christian who prevailed victorious when Edge hit a spear on Anvil on the apron, sending the big man to the outside, and Christian hit his finish on Pillman for the win. This gives the team great momentum going into Unforgiven. The third match of the night pitted the Nation's Ahmed Johnson against the returning Faroo. The former leader of the Nation returned last week as Ken Shamrock's mystery partner and helped the world's most dangerous man secure an IC title match against The Rock at Unforgiven. This was a battle of two heavyweights and a chance for Farooq to exact a measure of revenge against his former Nation colleague. Throughout the match, every move was as hard-hitting as the next, and you could see the toll it was taking on the two combatants as the match wore on. Johnson thought he had the match won with a huge spinebuster. However, Farooq responded in kind with a spinebuster of his own. He then followed this up with the Dominator, and it looked as though he had the match won. However, The Rock jumped the guardrail and entered the ring attacking Farooq with a steel chair. He looked down on the prone Farooq and went to hit the People's Elbow. However, just before he hit the move, Ken Shamrock's music hit, and the world's most dangerous man launched an attack on The Rock, taking his head off with a stiff kick. Shamrock followed this up with a belly-to-belly suplex and clamped the ankle lock in on The Rock, who was tapping desperately. Is this a sign of things to come at Unforgiven? Triple H made his way to the ring next. The European champion said that the attack he launched on the Old Man Chainsaw, Charlie, last week was nothing compared to the assault he will unleash on Mankind inside the steel cage at Unforgiven, and he will prove once and for all that he belongs in the elite division of the business. However, just then, Mankind rolled into the ring behind Triple H and locked in the mandible claw on the European champion. Chyna jumped into the ring to break the hold on Triple H, who rolled to the outside of the ring. However, Mankind turned his attention to the female bodyguard, locking the mandible claw on her, sending Hunter into a fit of rage. Who will be victorious at Unforgiven? We then came to our main event of evening, where the tag team champions of the Hart Foundation took on Bret Hart's two Unforgiven opponents in The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could see that tensions were high between the Rattlesnake and the Dead Man right from the get-go, when Austin tagged himself in at the start of the contest, sending Undertaker to the apron. Austin started strongly, but he was distracted in a confrontation with The Undertaker when Bulldog attacked from behind, putting the Hart Foundation in control of the contest. Austin rallied back, however, with those signature punches before tagging in The Undertaker. The Undertaker dominated for a period, but it was a back-and-forth match between the two teams. The Undertaker hit a huge lariat. However, when he went to make the tag to Austin, Austin stepped down from the apron and headed to the back, leaving Undertaker to face the tag champions alone. The Hart Foundation went on to dominate for the remainder of the match, but The Undertaker showed great resilience, refusing to stay down for the 3 count even after a sit-out piledriver from Owen Hart. Hart even went on to hit a step and Zaguri, but Taker again sat up. Somehow Undertaker managed to hit a huge double chokeslam on both Owen and Bulldog and was looking to end the contest with a tombstone, when Bret Hart entered the ring and attacked the dead man with a steel chair, ending the contest. The Hitman continued the assault on the Undertaker in the corner. But the crowd went crazy when once more the glass shattered and Stone Cold Steve Austin returned to the ring to brawl with the Hitman, taking him out with a Stone Cold Stunner and sending him to the outside. However, when Austin turned around, he walked straight into a tombstone piledriver from The Undertaker, who returned the favor for Stone Cold's actions last week on Raw. Will The Undertaker capture the golden reign once more at Unforgiven? Thanks for watching.